I am Angela Scott. I'm the Chief Executive of Aberdeen City Council and also Chair of the Chief Officers Group. And it's in that capacity that I'm introducing today's session. I'm joined today by my fellow members of COG who may want to pop up on the screen as I do the roll call. Caroline Hiscock, NHS Grampian, Kate Stephen, the local police division commander, Craig Stand, who's representing Che Ewan from Scottish Fire and Rescue, Sandra MacLeod from the Health and Social Care Partnership, and Campbell Thompson, our independent chair of our Child Protection and Adult Protection Committee. Over a year ago, the Chief Officer Group launched Aberdeen Protects, a multi-agency website designed to support all colleagues working in public protection within the city. COG regularly provides updates via the site, which we hope you find useful. You should have received a copy of the analysis of usage of the website. We would welcome your thoughts and ideas on how we can continue to develop the site to ensure its relevance and its usefulness for you in particular. We are delighted to have the opportunity to meet with you. It's a shame it's still not in person, but the digital world at least allows us to come together. But we are pleased to be with everyone today. And it's a real opportunity for us to express our appreciation. So on behalf of Caroline, Kate, Che, Sandra, myself and Campbell, an opportunity to express our appreciation for the findings from the recent Adult Support and Protection Inspection. For those we seek to protect from harm, a positive inspection report is an independent reassurance of our local arrangements. And as you know, a similar reassurance was provided by our children's inspection a couple of years ago. So on behalf of us all, thank you. Today's event also gives us the opportunity to discuss with you some work programmes which are underway as part of our collective continued improvement journey. So we thought it might be useful to start with an overview of our strategic intention to begin with. And as many of you will be familiar, our local outcome improvement plan does state our vision. And it's a vision where we hope that we can be a city where all people prosper, but in the event of harm happening, whatever the source of that harm, that we'll all be there to rescue them from that harm and will support the recovery from that harm. This vision and all the associated multi-agency improvement projects set out in our LOIP are trying to achieve a deliberate shift to prevention work whilst preserving our capacity and our capability to respond to harm. In addition to our collective work through our 3 multi-agency plans, and those are our LOIP, our Integrated Children's Services Plan and our Integrated Adult Services Plan. In addition to those, we all have our own single institution strategies and plans, which provide further contributions to those LOIP outcomes. Despite all this local activity, we do have to take on board the findings from 2 recent national reviews. Firstly, the Independent Review of Adult Social Care, the Feely Review, concluded that local prevention work across all partnerships is not going far enough. And the Care Review concluded that there must be a shift in focus from the risk of harm to the risk of not having stable, long-term loving relationships. As you know, the findings from the Feely Review have been accepted by the government and are now finding expression through the draft bill for a national care service. And the findings from the Care Review find expression in the promise. As partners, we accept the challenge from the Feely Review and the Care Review to go further in our approach to early intervention and prevention. Again, we thought it would be useful just to dwell for a bit of time on the promise and what we're doing at a local level. As many of you will know, the promise at a national level is underpinned by a series of change plans, and the change plan for year 2 to 4 is expected to see early intervention and prevention becoming standard, and the obsolescence of crisis services started. Delivering on the recommendations within the promise is going to be challenging and complex. It will require us all to collaborate and think differently about how we meet the needs of children on the edge of care, as well as those in our care. A work programme is underway locally to design, develop and implement a model of family support in the city, which is based on the 10 principles identified within the promise. Through initial engagement with yourselves, we think we understand the factors that are critical to us being successful in the implementation of the family support model. We're trying to work our way through the creation of a data architecture which will facilitate our new approach to family support. And of course, the voice of families will be important within our approach. To date, the progress of this work programme is being reported via our Community Planning Integrated Children's Services Board and via the COGS updates included within the Aberdeen Protects website. Your thoughts on how best to keep everyone informed, consulted and engaged will be incredibly helpful. Our Integrated Children's Services Plan is due for its formal refresh for the period 2023 to 26 and will take the opportunity to reflect our progress on the family support within it. Now looking at the National Care Service and what that means for us. While the Feely Review on Adult Social Care did not review children's services, it did recommend that the government consider the transfer of children's social work into the new National Care Service. The bill placed a commitment on the government to formally consult on any proposals to transfer children's services. Following publication of the bill, the government announced the appointment of Professor Bridget Daniels to undertake a research programme on the best models for organising children's services. It's currently anticipated that Professor Daniels will report in autumn 23, and thereafter the government will undertake a 12-week public consultation on its proposed structural model for children's services. Our IGB strategic plan was due its refresh for the period 22-23 to 24-25, and we've taken the opportunity to further strengthen our prevention work stream within the plan. Work is also underway on the development of a work programme to support our local transition to the National Care Service. It is anticipated that the National Care Service will go live during 25-26 financial year. An important aspect of this local work programme will be managing the impact of any of the structural proposals on our local system of public protection for children and adults, our Violence Against Women partnership and our Alcohol and Drug partnership. And as you know, we've done a lot of work locally to secure as much alignment of policy and practice across the strands of our public protection work. Given the government's intention to create a statutory duty to prevent homelessness, we've already begun some work to try and embed this into our current public protection arrangements. So in terms of locally, our LOIP, our refreshed IGB strategic plan, our soon-to-be refreshed integrated children's services plan, and our National Care Service transition plan, together all represent our shared work plans for the next 3 years. Plenty to keep us busy. Improving our approach to data is a common strand across all these work plans, and I'm pleased we're joined today by Martin, who's coordinating our partnership work on data. Today he's going to focus on our data work within our family support approach. In our response to the Adult Support and Protection Inspection, I wrote separately to the Care Inspectorate, setting out how Aberdeen City Council's adoption of the Dynamics platform within Office 365 would enable us as an organisation to improve our approach to technologies. Partners are currently considering whether it's possible for them to join this technology journey, and I'm pleased we're joined by Steve, who'll provide you with an overview of how this technology platform will help us. The benefits of early intervention and prevention work can prove difficult to measure and evidence, and nonetheless, we will have to attempt to do this. One mechanism we have is to commit ourselves to undertaking reviews, whether that's our established mechanism of initial and significant case reviews, or the developing adult support and protection reviews, suicide reviews, or community-based drug death reviews. All present us with an opportunity to reflect on our attempts to intervene earlier and to take learning. COG does recognise the capacity challenge that we all face, and I'm pleased Graham's hosting a session today on our approach to reviews. We need to strike the right balance between doing and learning from what we are doing. In all the busyness of what I've just described, it's critical we pay attention to retaining the good relationships we've established. These good relationships will enable us to navigate a more sizable shift to prevention. Our diversity of thinking, experience and perspective are all key to resolving the many issues we're going to face. But the prize, a city where everyone prospers, is something that we need to all keep front and centre of our mind. I hope that's been a useful overview of our strategic direction, and Sandra, I think I'm well ahead of time, so I'm happy, Sandra, to hand over to you and colleagues for you to share the positive findings from the Adult Support and Protection Inspection.